Hi, my name is Clara Roberts-Oss, and I'm a yoga teacher and trainer based out of Vancouver, BC, Canada. I wanted to share my passion about Prana Flow with you today. Prana Flow is a style of yoga that my teacher Shiva created probably almost 3 decades ago, and it is a style of yoga that is really based on the fact that we are fluid beings, meaning that we are made up of water. And so a lot of the practice gives us or returns us back to that feeling of fluidity of water. And so a lot of the practice is what Shiva would call moving meditation. So linking breath and movement together like a classic Vinyasa, but you would be doing it without stopping, without pausing. And so the idea of this moving meditation, I'm doing one for you right now, like inhaling arms out, exhaling hands in, right? Is this idea of expansion and contraction. I remember the first class I took with her at the Omega conference in New York. I felt like I was coming home. I met yoga when I was 18, but it had more of a structured feeling to it, which was amazing, but didn't feel as natural to me. So when I met Shiva and we did a lot of these moving meditations, and she also pairs a lot of music, amazing music to those movements, it really brought me this sense of like, I have arrived, I have found my tribe, I have found where I want to be. After studying with Shiva for so long, I really feel as though I embodied the practices that she taught me, and then I also started to explore other kinds of yoga, specifically Iyengar and Anusara. I also studied a lot of Jivamukti, so other styles of Vinyasa as well as more static styles. And so I've taken what I've learned from all my teachers, embodied it, and created my own little style. I still have that fluidity that Shiva taught, but I also mix that in with some more static, still postures. I find, at least for me, it really helps me to ground, to move between the fluidity and the stillness. So you'll definitely explore that in my classes. The style that I teach in terms of Vinyasa is wonderful for dancers, people who have been sitting for long periods of time, definitely people who play sports where they're kind of contracted down, right? And then people who are looking to connect to their bodies and feel more freedom. So we kind of move in both directions. We're going to get strong and still, and we're also going to get super expansive. So I would say that my style of yoga is great for most bodies. What you'll experience in my class is a mixture of a few different aspects, and you'll see that in pretty much all of my classes, no matter what style I'm teaching. The first one is there's always a bhavana, there's always a theme, a mood, a feeling that I'm trying to cultivate, not only through the physical practice, but you'll notice through the subtle cues or the energetic or mental cues that I'll give you while we're moving through the class. If we're in a Vinyasa practice together, then I'm definitely always moving towards a peak pose of some sort. And so peak pose is the apex. It's what all the poses that are that we're doing beforehand are opening us up to come to the peak. And then the lunar part of the class, right after the apex, when we're coming down, I'm really, really mindful of the way that I counter and neutralize your body so that when you lie down in Shavasana, you're like, boom, ready for rest. What I'd love to teach you, my fellow teachers, is wave theory based off of my teacher Shiva Ray's Prana Flow. And so wave theory is a wonderfully holistic, essentially skeleton for a Vinyasa class that's going to help prepare your students to go towards an apex pose, warm up the body, all kinds of body types, right? So one thing that we're really mindful of is kramas of different stages. So I'm going to teach you how to teach an open level class, because that's pretty much what we teach these days, right? Is you have your person who is new to yoga and also the person who's been practicing for about 15-20 years. And so I will teach you how to teach a class so that everybody feels held, seen, right, and supported to move into a place in their body that feels safe and empowered. So you'll learn that in the class. You'll also learn what makes a peak pose, how do we work towards it, how do we counter it and neutralize it at the end of class. And so I find that no matter what style of yoga that you're teaching, the art of sequencing is going to be really helpful to enhance what you're already teaching on many different levels. The other part that I would say that is a big takeaway is I'll teach you from the peak pose. I'll teach you all the kramas of that peak pose so that no matter who is in your class, they again will feel empowered to do some variation of the peak pose. The yoga that I teach is not only a physical practice, but we also weave in a lot of philosophies. So you'll learn about Tantra, you'll learn about Ayurveda, you'll learn about the chakras and about the elements, and all of those philosophical components will actually help to feed the physical practice and will give your students a more widened or connected practice, so that they're not only getting a good quote-unquote workout or good feeling in their body, but we're also going to be feeding their minds and their spirits, right? Because the idea of yoga is that we're marrying all of these together, body, mind, and spirit. And so we will dive into that more in the art of sequencing. If you want to learn more about the style of yoga that I teach, then feel free to check out my online site, practice.clararobertsoss.com. We offer a 7-day free trial, and there's lots of different styles of yoga that you can check out there. And I would specifically recommend checking out all the Vinyasa classes that I teach, so that you can kind of get a sense of the different ways that I approach the physical practice, either through philosophy, right? Either through mantra, through pranayam, through breath work. If you're interested, you can join me for my 4-day training, Art of Sequencing, and all of that would be on the website. So feel free to check that out, and hopefully I'll see you further down the path. Namaste.